Hello, Dolphins. Welcome to today's Pod Talk. My name is Lisa Sewell, and I'm joined by Lissa White, Assistant Director of Developing Outdoors. Lissa graduated from CSUCI in 2011 with a degree in Early Childhood Studies. Previously participated in the CSUCI Community Choir Collaboration, and when not working, Lissa loves traveling and kayaking. Thanks so much for being here, Lissa.
Oh, of course. Thank you for having me.
So I'd love to start by discussing the organization that you work for, Developing Outdoors, which provides before and after school care for elementary and middle school students. So can you tell us a little bit more about Developing Outdoors and talk about what you enjoy most about the work that you get to do there every day?
Sure. So to go back a little bit, we were, our sister company is Camp Kineret. It's located in Agoura Hills. From there, we kind of grew into another company called Growing Outdoors, which provided after school enrichment, which helped us establish a really good positive connection with the school district. And from there, we've helped them sort of break away from some chain corporations that were running their extended care programs so that they could be on their own feet and start their own programs. So we were instrumental in getting all of that started and doing the hiring and managing of the staff and really helping our staff members grow and build a quality program for our students.
That's great. So for you in your role as assistant director, what does your kind of day-to-day look like, and what are some of your favorite things about what you get to do?
I wear many hats in my role. I do a little bit of HR, I do interviewing, I help facilitate the drug testing program. I spend time with the kids, I do staff training. I love the amount that I've learned stepping into this role, because I used to be a teacher in the Child Development Center on the Point Mugu Naval Base. So transitioning from that role into something a little bit more administrative and a little bit more where I can work one-on-one with staff members to really grow their skills. I've learned so much in the time that I've been with my program. And I'm just super proud of the work that we've been able to do so far.
Awesome. So for you, I wanted to just kind of reflect back to when you were a student at CSUCI. Did you have specific career goals in mind for yourself when you were a student? And if not, how did you kind of figure things out and get to where you are right now?
So I knew from a very young age that I wanted to work with people and specifically small people. So at the time I was really sort of debating between nursing and early childhood. And I came to one of the career major days at Channel Islands before I started, and was sort of wandering around, and I stumbled upon the early childhood studies booth, and the passion that they had for the program, it made me feel like my dreams of entering that field weren't only achievable, but they were like encouraged by that educated community. And I really valued that. So I decided to move forward in that direction. And I think a lot of people sort of are lost when they enter college. They're not totally sure what they want to do. And I consider myself really lucky that I had some kind of direction. But the professors really played a role in me being able to accomplish those goals for myself. So.
Got it. That's really neat to hear that they were, yeah, just that source of inspiration for you kind
Oh,
of
they were.
your path. That's awesome. So what advice do you have for students or even some of our new grads, so people that have just graduated in May that are, looking for their first full-time position? So another way to kind of think about that question is, what do you wish that you had known when you were graduating?
Some of my biggest advice would be invest time in your writing ability. I personally review a whole bunch of applications every day, and I feel like I can sort of see who cares in their writing. And I don't necessarily mean having perfect English or that English is your native language. I mean being able to communicate that you care and that you're not lazy or apathetic through your writing. I think that's really valuable when learning how to move forward in the resume and application process. Also, I wish I had sort of known how sort of complicated it can be. Being able to, you have to write a resume, you have to do all these employment forms, you have to do all these steps that I really didn't didn't know about. And part of that is an experience thing. And also the resources that are available to students now versus back in 2011, take advantage of those resources, you know, reach out, ask for help, ask for guidance. There are a lot of people out there, including myself, who want to help and want people to enter the field successfully. So a lot is out there for you.
I'm really glad you brought up resources, because I do think sometimes students aren't aware of what's available through the Career and Development Center, or through Dolphin Connect, which I know you're a mentor on that platform. So Dolphin Connect is our mentoring and networking community. So there's so much available to you. And exactly like you were talking about before, professors are such a huge resource. And I know many of them are happy to share career advice and, you know, take a look at documents. Of course, at the Career Center, we can help you with resumes and cover letters, and exactly what you're talking about, just the quality of that writing and making sure that you really are sharing your story, but making it specific to the company that you're targeting. So I don't know if that's something that you see, where you, like when you read a cover letter and it feels like they've sent the same one to 50 different places as opposed to really picking you. So, I mean, on that note, like what are some things you've seen applicants do that really impressed you?
Ooh, terrific question. I would say applicants who don't just do the minimum. So even though it takes a moment out of my day, having somebody call me to ask questions that they couldn't find online, or ask me in interviews what my experience is, so that they can understand how much a company cares, not just how much they care as entering the company. Those kinds of things stand out to me. And again, it takes some time out of my day, but my commitment is to my students. And
Right.
I don't want to bring people in who don't care. You know, I want to bring people in who are committed to the growth of the students and the growth of their own professional development. And those types of things really stand out to me, because if you aspire to work for a company that doesn't care about their students or about their staff members, you're probably not going to grow very much. And I care that you care about growing.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And especially from the hiring perspective, exactly. You want to bring on, you know, employees that are going to be putting in this energy and attention, at least in the application, because that's a good sign of how they're going to perform once they're there. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's great advice. So one of the questions I like to ask is just looking again back at your degree. So how would you say that your experience at CSUCI prepared you for your current role?
Wow. My one of the things that really attracted me to Channel Islands was, I knew it, you know, it's a little different now, but back then it was still a very, very new school, and the class sizes were very, very small. I had heard incredible things about really top-notch professors who came with the intention to build up the program. And my professors just blew me away. It was above and beyond anything I could have expected. My friends who went to these giant universities would tell me horror stories about being one of 600 people in a class, and that they were drowning and struggling and failing. And I got incredible individual attention from my professors. So they really gave me a solid understanding of what it meant to work with children and what it meant to care about working with children. So just their love and passion and compassion for me, and the individual care that they took for me, and the projects that they designed for all of us, just really set me on a good course, I think.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I definitely love to talk about, since we're, you know, in career development, and the importance of networking is just so central to, you know, to job searching and to career growth. So I wanted to ask you, like, how do you define networking, and how has your network supported your career growth?
Networking to me means really sharing and expanding and growing your attitude towards a field with people who are like-minded and who are interested in growth themselves. So back when I was sort of entering the networking realm with my itty bitty baby college feet, I was attending extra activities. I was planning office hours and meeting with my professors and really trying to collaborate to grow my abilities as much as I could, because I knew once I exited Channel Islands, I was on my own, and I was going to I was going to be, you know, swimming in the depths of the career field all by myself, which wasn't actually true, because Channel Islands continued to support me afterwards. But can you tell me the rest of that question again? I was thinking about the first part too much.
Yeah, that was such a great answer. So how do you define networking, which you addressed wonderfully, and then in what ways has your network supported your career growth? So actually, you were saying Channel Islands did support you after
Yeah.
So so I'm thinking anybody in your network. So it could have been professors, you know, fellow classmates that you had, supervisors. Just, you know, how has your network really helped you get to the place that you're at today?
Fabulous. So I can think of at least 5 professors who I kept in touch with after I graduated, as I was exploring new ways to take my networking and my career goals the next level. So I really was focused on having them sort of guide me in ways that I really wouldn't have thought of. I had the opportunity to gain a position with the school that I was doing my student teaching at after I graduated. And a lot of that was because I had this really strong network of professors who pushed me. They pushed me really hard, and in a really healthy way while I was student teaching. And from there, I just kept growing and expanding it. So I really got a lot of help from my network. I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. So one of my last questions that I wanted to ask about, that's on a more personal level, is just what has inspired you lately?
Oh, my staff at my program. So our school year ended in a really abrupt and sort of scary, unprecedented way. And beyond that, there was sort of this initiative to continue doing online programming for our students who really missed a lot of my staff members. So I was hearing about all these wonderful things they were doing. My staff were leading classes with skills that I never even knew that they had. And they had such an amazing attitude about it. And they were so committed to maintaining that connection with their students. Because the students really missed them and they missed their students. And I was like, how did I get so lucky to have this group of impeccably caring and talented people that I'm so privileged to get to be involved with? So they have really, truly inspired me these past several months, because they've been just fabulous. They've really stepped it up. I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, it sounds like they're incredibly innovative, they're resourceful. And like you said, this is something that, you know, nobody's really dealt with before. So it's a whole new, you have to be flexible and adaptable. And it sounds like your team definitely is.
They have been. They've sort of amazed me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that segues perfectly into a question I wanted to ask is about a position that I know you're currently recruiting for within your organization for an extended care mentor. So for any of our students or alumni who might be interested in applying for that position, can you tell us a little bit about what it's like working at Developing Outdoors, you know, a little bit about the team that they might be joining and about the role itself?
Awesome. So like we discussed before, we run the before and after school program for the Oak Park Unified School District. It's a really terrific program because it's a place for kids to go before and after school to maintain their social connections and be growing and learning while still at school, but it's got more of a camp sort of feel. So throughout the afternoon, they sort of rotate throughout activities. The staff have a lot of freedom, creative freedom, to bring in unique experiences for them. Because kids can go anywhere to play basketball or to play kickball. It's really about the connections with the staff and how they make those experiences really unique and silly. That's where the growth and the joy sort of happens. So we're very growth oriented, and we believe in providing a terrific activity atmosphere for our students. So our staff members have a lot of freedom to sort of create and build and do all those things along with our students. They also participate in homework help, and they'll be, you know, working with snack distribution and maintaining groups of children, giving kids the freedom to be kids after school, even if their families aren't able to come get them right away. So it's a home away from home for a lot of kids, I think.
So it sounds like there's a really, like you said, an amazing community that you've brought together through developing outdoors.
We definitely like to think so, for sure.
So again, for applicants, if they want to stand out, like what are some of the things that you're really looking for that you would want somebody to emphasize if they're going to apply?
So we don't like to think that experience is required entering our field. We really want people with the raw skills of wanting to be there and caring and wanting to be creative and silly all day, every day. Because those are things that we can help you build. We can help you develop skills in managing a small group or a large group. We can help you develop skills to collaborate and communicate with your team. There's a lot of skills that that we focus on when we're helping our staff grow throughout the program. So those are the types of things we're looking for. Just people who care, people who want success for the children, who want success for themselves, and want to have fun at work.
I like that. I like the way you're describing it as, having a chance to be silly too. There aren't a lot of workplaces where that's, maybe as celebrated. So it sounds, this is such a good fit for, people that are looking for that kind of an environment. So before I get into our bonus round where I'm asking some CI specific questions, where would students and alumni go to apply for this position if they're interested?
So they can go to developingoutdoors.com. It'll have a little bit of information for them, and then there's a big blue button towards the bottom that says click here to apply. Our email and phone number are all right there, and I look forward to hearing from some awesome Channel Islands students.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Right. So my lightning round, like I said, is all CI specific. So my first question is, who was your favorite professor?
That is a really tough one to answer, but I have to go with Charles Sackerson. He was my professor for biology of cancer, and it was like a science elective. I had to take a certain science class, and that one sounded the most interesting. And I actually took it at a time when my aunt was losing her cancer battle, and Professor Sackerson took the time to meet with me and answer these like weirdly specific questions that I had about my aunt's specific treatment. So it was a really cathartic class for me at the time. And he just really cared a lot about me learning what was going on, and really helped me through that time. So I'm very thankful for him.
See, that's going back again to what you were saying about CI and just that the privilege that we have of being on a campus that's small, and you get to have that really individual connection with faculty. That's incredible.
Yeah, he was awesome.
So my next question is, what is your favorite spot on campus? So
I lived in the same dorm room for 3 years, B222. And that was my home away from home. I lived with the same 2 roommates all 3 years that I stayed there. Aww. We had so much fun in that dorm room. It was just my kingdom. I loved it so much. But if I wasn't there, I could be found at the library, because I really, really loved the library so much.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So what do you miss most about being a student on campus? That's my final question for you today.
Aside from all the fun that I had with my roommates and all of the events that we went to and all of those fun things, I get teased a lot for this answer, but I really miss homework.
Really?
I loved the assignments that my professors gave me. I felt like they were so creative and out of the box and unique. And I could write essays for days. So I really miss doing the PowerPoints and the projects and the essays and all of those fun things. I really miss it. If I could be a student forever, I would.
Well, it's great that you work in education still, because you get to, be in that setting, which is so much fun. I understand. So a follow-up question to that would be, what was one of the favorite assignments that you got to work on? One of those really creative, out of the box ones.
I took, one of my favorite classes was this early childhood literacy class. And every week we had to make a book. about a certain subject in early childhood. And I had such a blast making these books. I made a touch and feel book for babies. I wrote this really silly story about, this thing that doesn't even matter anymore, but it was just so much fun making all those books every single week. Even though I was up till 2 or 3 in the morning doing them, it was just such a blast. I really loved that class.
Oh my gosh. Did you save a lot of your assignments from school?
I did. They live at my parents' house in my closet, and that's where they're gonna stay.
Well, Lisa, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story today, to talk about your experiences, to talk about what it's like working at Developing Outdoors. It sounds like you and I are both available if any students or alumni have questions, and they can go to the website like you mentioned if they're interested in applying. But it's just always a pleasure to talk to alumni, and it's really great to hear that your experience with your professors and on campus was just so incredible.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I'm a graduate from CI too, and I feel the same. I have a lot of really fond memories about being a student. So
excellent.
Thank you so much for chatting with me today, and we look forward to sharing this out with our students and alumni so they can learn from you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was a true joy, and I look forward to hearing from anyone who wants to collaborate.
Sounds great. Thank you, Lisa.
Of course.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.